Welcome to 14th Cyprus International Film Festival Industry Networking event. I'm very glad to present the director of Cyprus Investment Organization, Mr. Eleftheriou, Senior Officer, thank you. Mr. Elmos Neouleus, he's a Cypriot producer and director, and Mr. Alexis Chaviaras, he's a director and animator. He lives in Cyprus. We're going to see a small video from Cyprus Investment Organization, and we will start the presentations. Thank you.
Hello everybody. My name is Eleftheriou. I represent Invest Cyprus, which is basically the marketing branch of the government for marketing the country abroad. And I am also the chairman of the Cyprus Film Commission on behalf of Film Cyprus. I guess you know many things about Cyprus because of this festival, so I'm not going to elaborate about that Cyprus is a natural studio in itself. I'm just going to tell you a few things about the committee, which I believe is the subject that interested you more. The committee, the Cyprus Film Commission, consists of my organization, which, as I told you, chairs the committee, the ministry, or a representative of the Ministry of Finance, a representative of the Ministry of Education, and a representative of the Deputy Ministry of Tourism. Basically, what we do, we receive application for movies, documentaries, or certain type of reality shows, and we approve them or disapprove them for cash rebate or tax credit, which means that once we approve an application, we give to the main applicant at the end of the production between 25 and 35% cash rebate of the expenses incurred in Cyprus during the production period. So far, the committee is very young, I would say. We started business about a year ago, or less, I would say, actually. And so far we have approved, as probably you might know, some of you, a movie with featuring Nicolas Cage, and another movie with William Baldwin. Both productions are on the post-production right now, and hopefully pretty soon we will see them on screen. We also approve another movie which hasn't started production yet. We are expecting this to happen at some point during 2020. And we are looking forward to receive more applications. Of course, I'm not going to tell you, that's me? Sorry. Of course, I'm not going to tell you about the application we rejected. Now, as I told you before, Cyprus is a natural film studio because in a very small distance you can see many things that are interested in producers, like historical monuments, Byzantine monuments, Catholic monuments, Ottoman monuments. You can see we have sandy beaches, snow-capped mountains during the winter. We have forest, we have deserted place. It's a very interesting country to shoot a movie, I believe. And if you have any questions regarding locations or whatever, you might log on our website at film.investcyprus.org.cy, and you will see a sea of you will see the list of professionals, Cypriot professionals that you can collaborate with them. We're talking about producers, directors, line producers, and so on. You can contact them directly. If you have any specific questions regarding the filming scheme, you can contact me directly at any time. Another one point that I want to mention to you is that is the natural light of Cyprus. Of course, I don't have the screen to show you, but I just want to let you know that the latitude difference between Cyprus and Los Angeles is just 1 degree, which means we have almost the same natural light with Los Angeles, which makes us an ideal location for shooting. Yeah, basically, this is what I convey to you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Eleftheria. I would like to present some people from Cyprus who are present here and came to meet them. I would like to invite Mr. Denis Manganis from Green Olive to come on stage on the podium, and you have 3 minutes to present what you do and what you can offer to international co-production here in Cyprus.
Thank you for visiting the event today. My name is Dionysios Manganis. I represent Green Olive Films. Green Olive Films has been in the market for over 20 years, and our main line of business is servicing international productions, either be documentaries or feature films, as Mr. Eleftherios just mentioned, commercials, and whatever has to do with productions, being photographs, whatever. We have an office in Athens and Cyprus as well. We're a purely native Cypriot company, but we chose to expand to Athens as well, and by that we're using it as a front as well, if you wish, to Europe, just to get productions down to Cyprus. Again, I want to amplify what Eleftherios just said, that we are a natural film studio. I mean, we've proven it a lot of times. We've shot for History Channel, Netflix, British Army, I mean, we've shot with Carl Penn and all that sort of things. USA, Russia, UK, choose Cyprus a lot of times, Germany, exactly for the locations, for the amplitude of light, for the long hours of light that we have in Cyprus, and of course for the schemes which are in place at the moment, which are the most competitive in the world, which you, correct me if I'm mistaken, but that the entire thing constitutes Cyprus as a perfect place to shoot.
Can you mention a couple of projects, international projects with known director stars?
Sure. I mean, lately we shot, it was 5 or 6 months ago, we shot the international campaign for Australia here. Guys came from Spain, which goes to show you that in our minds, some of our minds, Spain and Cyprus, we might have more or less the same weather or conditions or light, but yet they chose Cyprus. And it was the first fully underwater shoot that we did in Cyprus. It was 5 days of underwater shooting. The director was Nacho Gayan. I'm sure you all heard of him before. The DOP was Jacques Ballard. He's fully specialized in underwater. And it was the biggest underwater shoot done in Cyprus. And we managed to do it, and we're really pretty happy. The bottom line that is we were in the competition. We were against Israel, Turkey, Malta, and Spain itself. We won the competition. What won us the competition was the water temperature, which was 20 degrees in April, which is the hottest in the Mediterranean. The pure visibility of underwater shoots. It was 35 to 40 meters visibility, no underwater currents whatsoever. And it was indeed the first time in the world that the actress didn't wear a wetsuit underneath the dress. So it was a bit of a test for us, because Cyprus is not known for underwater shooting, but we proved that it's doable. And the other factor is that we have a lot of different underwater escapes. So you can go to Protaras in Ayanapa, which is ideal because of various things. One of the major things is that if you plan on shooting to Protaras and you get a bad weather, then you can 5 minutes with the boat, you can go to Ayanapa, which is perfectly clear because in the middle there's the Cape Grego, which shelters, and vice versa if you want to shoot on And the difference is that you get seaweed, you get rocky underwaterscapes, you get sandy underwaterscapes, so you got a lot of variety for the director to choose. And that's one of the most recent, and I think it was a landmark in Cyprus.
Yes.
I also make films, especially with computer animation. I have made a film in 2015, which is also situated in Cyprus. It shows many locations, many landmarks of Cyprus, near the seaside, within the mountains. So the scouting part happened here. So I searched for locations in Paphos. So we have the castle of Paphos featuring in my film, Petra Turamiou, an old bridge, things like that. So indeed there are many interesting things to shoot. And although I use 3D computer graphics, I photographed those locations and used those photos as underlying, let's say, under drawings for the film. So that was useful for me too. One problem that I had, which is not actually common for shooting in Cyprus, is to find talent in 3D computer graphics. Because these things need to be quite advanced, so who will animate the characters realistically, and these sorts of things. So I had a little bit of trouble finding this talent here. My initial intention was to make a team of 10 people, but I was not sure if I could find it here. So I found it in Greece. So that was my plan then. I initially said, okay, I will work from a distance, communicating through the internet with Greek people. On the way, I actually found this a person who is he's proficient in computer graphics. And he could actually animate the characters of a 20-minute film on his own. Well, for me that was quite relieving, because I didn't have to manage all the team. If I have a huge brain who can actually have all the information and manage that, so I was lucky in that department. So the reason for not having this talent here in Cyprus, I believe it's about the education.
We have talent. You are the talent and you are here.
Yeah,
but
but...
awarded, so these people want to know what you can offer them
yeah.
in a future project. You are the best animator we have in Cyprus, and not only.
Yes.
And actually, I want to mention that in Cyprus, particularly in Limassol and Paphos, we have more than 5 or 6, I would say, animation companies, and they are doing a pretty good job actually. I'm really wondering why you wouldn't find the right talent to do it, because these companies, they distribute their work all over Europe and do it from Cyprus. So I suggest you to contact them. You will find good talents there.
Yes, indeed, there is talent, yes. But if we are going to upscale and, let's say, build a big studio and make films like international high-budget films, we need not only a group of 10 people, we need perhaps 100 of those. So I have been teaching at universities here, and I know where talent comes from, and it's not something we are born with, it's something we are taught and we improve on. So I have found the educational system being kind of behind in educating. We have animators who have been self-taught and who have come from abroad, who went to animation schools like I did and came to Cyprus. And this is actually the talent that we find here. How can we make that bigger? Perhaps make a course that is more specialized in animation. that would make numbers bigger.
This is another opportunity for Cyprus to increase the film production also in animation. Alex, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I will show his film yesterday, but Elmos, please tell us what you can offer to as regards
my name is Elmos. Besides being a producer and director for ideally my own films, we also run a production company called Mediabox, just like Dionysus' company Green Olive. We're in the market for supporting other producers and directors as well as our own projects. In terms of production facilities, locations, editing, graphics, etc. So as a company, we're always open to projects, I would say either from producers on the outside or scripts directly to us to be evaluated and produced with the help of SIBA or other funds or even private funding if they're judged to be high value. As a company, we have produced a number of shorts. We've been involved in a number of features over the years. So yeah, we do have...
you are ready for a big production?
We have the experience, we have the willingness, and we're always looking for a decent project in terms of, when I say decent, I mean an interesting project to be involved in and give our support. We can provide production support, technical support, or talent. So if you guys have any interest in working on projects in this country, or even in neighboring countries, we can give a hand. That's about it.
Thank you, Elmos. You come here on stage and present an idea that maybe can be a co-production here in Cyprus. I would like to invite first Cheryl Halpern, because I know she's in a hurry to leave, but to talk to us about, I know that you have been to Indonesia, you are from America, and from, please come on stage, and you go to Indonesia and make documentaries. So, because you participate in our festival with your documentary, Remembering Kiev, tell us why you go to Indonesia. Maybe we'll find something here in Cyprus.
One never knows.
You never know, yeah. What did you find in Indonesia that we cannot offer here in Cyprus?
Well, it's also very important. This is my first visit to Cyprus. I had no idea with regard to the commission or to sources and resources here in country. Not even, quite frankly, going to Cannes, where you have the different country booths that are established. I don't recall ever seeing Cyprus prominently displayed to attract the attention of a foreign visitor within the industry. And the same thing with the Berlinale, and even the AFM, or Sundance, where you have specific industry opportunities. This is my first introduction to Cyprus, and I thank you all for educating me. Indonesia, when I first went there, they were interested in co-venturing and promoting the culture and the history of Indonesia. And the reason they reached out to me as a foreign producer is in terms of my eyes versus their eyes, because they were at home with their culture, but they didn't have an awareness or an understanding how to best promote it and share it with audiences overseas. And that has been a very exciting opportunity for me and for them. We did a documentary called Menari, The Legacy of Indonesian Dance. And that has won at film festivals. It has been, interestingly, screened in Indonesia to encourage interest from the younger generations who are dealing with modernity in the tradition of Indonesian dance. And we're doing several other docs on that theme. The spirituality, the transcendental dances that are part of Indonesian culture. So I don't know enough about Cyprus. I don't know enough about your culture, your customs, your traditions. But in talking to Petra last night, I think there are opportunities to co-venture music, dance, they're universal languages that can be shared effectively. But we need to talk, and we need to really engage with one another. So that's my challenge back to you. Somehow, you got to educate me, and I've got to then be able to work together with you.
Thank you very much. I hope before you leave on Saturday, you will have some knowledge for the 9,000 history of Cyprus.
Please God.
9,000 years of history. I would like to invite on stage Mr. George Nicholas, who participates for the second time also in our festival. We would like to...
Second time to Cyprus. You mentioned the first day that if you drink the water in Cyprus, you have to come back. Anyway, so I was at the 2017 festival in Paphos, and I have a friend, a former student actually. I'm a university professor as well as a filmmaker, and professionally I'm at New York at Hofstra University. And at DOP, that's how I made my career in almost 20 years. So I produced feature films, and I've lensed feature films. And I've been hiding behind a camera for 20 years, essentially. So I've just started making my own book, and this is my second film in this festival. My last film premiered at Paphos, and that was sort of magical, I think. And I was conceiving the feature film, and the pieces hadn't quite all come together. And when I was visiting the sea, it all just popped as to where the location was and who that character was, and who the characters were. So I've just completed the first draft of the feature film set here, and probably split between Limassol and Casilla. And it's essentially a love story between a veteran. It takes place 10 years after the invasion, and it's a veteran of that war who's grappling with sort of flashbacks, and there's a bit of a mystery as to what happened to his parents because they're among the missing. And he's a wedding photographer who's fallen in love with an heiress to a shipping fortune, and sort of steals her away from the sort of, a free shipping family.
And you contact also, you have an actor?
Yeah, so I met Anthony Scorti at the festival in Paphos, and I actually sort of rewrote a part for him, the part of the love interest's father. We've been in contact about that as well. So I'm looking to find a producer who's good at co-production, but have not done international co-production, and probably local crew and local resources.
How often you have the availability, the flexibility to travel to Cyprus per year, because we have this?
I teach full-time, I'm a tenured track faculty member, so I have these blocks of time. That's one of the nice things about teaching, is I have a huge block of time in the summer, so from June to about September, and then all of the winter, essentially. So January, January to February.
Plenty of time
There's a lot of
shoot.
time. Yeah, the script is 150 pages. I think it'll probably no less than 120, 125. But I haven't broken it down in terms of, I haven't done a breakdown. It's still kind of fresh.
Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
What is the title of the film?
Green Lines.
Green Lines?
Green Lines, yeah. It's the terrible title, maybe to find it better.
It's a working title.
It's a working title.
Green Lines, all right. I know that Miss Irene Alameda from Spain has...
Working before, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'll briefly introduce myself. I am from Spain, as you can notice from my accent. I live in the US. I've been living there for many, many years. I earned my PhD from at Columbia University. I also have a film studies, a master in film studies, also earned at Columbia University. I shot my first short in 2002. And, well, I am a university professor. I teach film and creative literature, creative writing. And I founded my production company in 2008, so I've been working pretty much in film since then. I've shot a lot of commercials, music videos, and 6 shorts. I premiered my first feature last week in an international festival in Spain. And that's my first feature. As I said, it took me many years to get it done, to put together a production. And well, basically, to me, making movies, becoming a filmmaker is a building blocks process. I developed a very personal narrative, a distinctive narrative style with my shorts.
We have the screen of your film also today. And what is the project you want to?
Yeah. So
1 minute.
One minute. If you see my movie, you see it's a very complicated production. The movie is not complicated, but the production is complicated. I shot it in India. It's an international co-production with American, Spanish money. Shot in India, even the US and Spain. Well, the next natural process was to me to make a miniseries, a TV miniseries, 6 chapters series, also to be shot abroad. And well, it's great that I have the opportunity to pitch this project. We have already attached the main talent to the TV series. It's very similar to the movie in the sense that it's an international co-production. I'm very much interested in the fault lines, in the liminal spaces, in these border places. That's why I shot between India and Pakistan, a documentary and my feature. And I came to learn about Cyprus, and we are looking for the location for this mini-series.
We have the title and the log line?
The log line is two sisters in their 60s. They have to find urgently their brother who lives abroad, we don't know where, and they have to actively look for him. They don't know, they have to give him very important news, and he's lost. It's a tragic comedy, I would say. The main actresses who are already attached to the project, I've worked with one of them in 2 movies already. The other one is a very important international actress, but I cannot say her name yet. So basically, we will have these 2 sisters looking for the brother. We'll learn about them.
Irene, thank you very much.
Okay.
Because the time is running, and there are people who would like to present. Shigeru Hirai, do you want to present something? Mr. Shigeru Hirai. Okay, you're welcome. What about our friend Hiroki Sugino? Thank you. From Japan. Outside.
Hello everyone. I'm really honored to be here, and thank you for Petra, and it's very great to see you everyone. I'm from Tokyo, and I'm running my company in Tokyo, and as a producer and director, I do create music videos, documentary TV shows, and different things. And now, unfortunately, my film, I didn't have the Greek subtitle, so I couldn't screen it in here. But my film is about the Rastafarian people, the way of life that they choose. And why I selected the theme is, as I live in Japan, I see many struggles in Japan, and I studied filmmaking in Los Angeles, and there is some like racial issues and political issues I found. And then I found that the people live as a Rasta. The people like this the Rasta, they find the way of life that how can they get the freedom, and how they try to get the liberty out of the creating something. I mean, I'm sorry, my English is not very good, but the originally why the reggae music and Rasta people interest I really like is their country, the Jamaica, is a very small country, like Cyprus, I think, and the reggae music is currently very big music, and everyone knows about reggae music. Why is it? I wondered it. And I try to explore the reason, and in my film, it's like my journey. I'm trying to find the answers, and so maybe I can send you the link if I get in touch with you and give me email. And so I want to spread my film to everyone.
What about your future project?
My future project is it's also a documentary project, and it's about the tsunami disaster. I went to the area where the tsunami hit in 2011, and I spent 8 years so far to film the project. And it's about the human, how they recover their lives and everything, because they lost everything. You know, as Japan is kind of not rich country, but they have everything. Like they have jobs, and they have people, houses, and ships, but they lost everything. What happened? So I'm trying to find the solutions and the philosophies of why we are living like those kind of things. So that's my next project, and I hope to show it.
It is very interesting, and I would like to honor you because his film was in the selection of the 12 films that were participating in Los Angeles in World Film Fair. Okay, he didn't want. We received so many good films. We have a limited screening time, so we must put some terms and conditions to eliminate the number. And I told him, okay, you don't have the subtitles, we are not going to screen it, but you are still in competition. So the judges have seen, it is an official selection for the festival, and you never know what will happen tomorrow at the award ceremony. So I would like to honor this for you. And you told me, Petra, doesn't mind, I don't want a live screening, I will come to Cyprus just for the networking.
Yes, thanks so much.
Hello everyone, I'm from Igor, from Hungary, and I'm sort of a fresh meat on the film industry because I have graduated last year with the short film, The Buzz. You had the opportunity to see it here because it was screened on Tuesday. And I am the creative producer of the film. Daniel Füzes was the director, who unfortunately cannot be here because he's working and studying hard. And since then, I'm an assistant producer at a UK company in Hungary, and we produce many commercials and short films and video clips and everything. So if you have a project or anything, you can connect us. And I also like Cyprus, so I will present it to my producers. If we have a client who wants to shoot in Cyprus, we will recommend it.
Thank you
very much. And thank you very much for...
Do you have a project already?
No, I'm writing stuff and thinking and maybe going back to school a little bit. And I would like to be a creative producer in more projects, so I'm looking for something inspirational.
Thank you. Maybe our Cyprus producers would like to have a Hungary contact. Thank you very much. And see this will later after that. What about our friend Natasha Antonello? He has Greek origins, he speaks perfectly English, Greek, and Lebanese, and I don't know what else, and French, of course. We have fiction.
Hello.
Film yesterday.
Yes,
Helen.
Festival. I'm not fluent in English. I am a francophone, but I will try to read the synopsis of my film, my feature film.
For the next feature film you want to.
Yeah, Dabke is a dance. Dabke, we dance this dance in Lebanon, in Jordan, in Palestine. And Dabke has two meanings in Arabic. It's either the dance of unity, either the conflagration, the conflicts. So Dabke narrates the story of 4 Greek women belonging to 3 generations, a grandma, a mother, and 2 daughters, that are going to leave a war that is not there, the war of Lebanon. The 4 characters represent 4 facets of the war, depicting the migratory story of this Greek matriarch. I don't know if it's just en anglais. The grandma Cassandra and the mother Ira are figures of extremism and tyranny. Alexandra and Athena, the 2 daughters, they will try to deprive Alexandra and Athena of freedom. The grandma represents the second bureau, a sort of spy. She's spying the 2 daughters. And the mother is a kind of star. She is a widow, and she lost the money because war is, and she will try to find a third husband. She will take advantage of war to seduce men and become rich. And she is very jealous of her daughter, and she will manage to become rich and get back as a queen in Greece. The 2 sisters have opposite characters. The oldest one, Athena, wants to succeed her integration in the Lebanese society, and she escaped from this house, and she enters a dancing company.
It seems to be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of Greek elements of the Greek.
I need very good actresses,
Yeah.
because
Do you
it's a war inside the house,
Yeah.
and it depicts the war of Lebanon.
So maybe you can combine maybe some shooting in Cyprus, because
I
Greek
hope.
goddesses and gods.
And we are next also. It's half an hour from Lebanon. So the two sisters have opposite trajectory, and there is conflicts, many conflicts, because one of the girls, Athena, wants to adapt herself in the Lebanon. She escapes and becomes a dancer. The other one remains in the house, and she wants to get back to her roots in Greece, and she wants to revenge from her mother and grandmother. And it is in Greece, the last scene, that we will see the return of Greek tragedy, while Athena is writing the novel of her family, but the fiction joins the reality, and it is in Greece that the breakdown, the climax happens. So it is art and essay film, but it is for big grand public. I got the $35,000 from the Lebanese government, from the Lebanese Fund of Cinema. It's not too much for that film, but it is the biggest amount they have given to a film.
For the production or for the script?
For the production, because they love the script and they love the characters, and they say it is lahmu dam in Arabic. They can see the skin and the blood. You see? And I have a production company in Lebanon, and I produce my film. I'm a director, a writer, a drama, and an actress, and a former dancer, and also a sculptor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have something to present as a future project?
Yes.
Anusha came from India for her short documentary. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. So my next feature, which I say I want to direct, is named Connection Place. I'm looking for Indo-Western production coming together, because there is a character of international documentary maker who roams across the world to do documentaries, and he stuck into a dead marriage.
and how it all works, and both the wife and the husband, they go through their own journeys in this, ultimately realizing the worth of having a fabric. So this is a project I really want to do on a Indo-Western collaboration, and if anybody is interested, or I could connect, and I would love to share the script. Secondly, being from India, as you know, after Hollywood, Bollywood is the production where it's thriving in commercials, and I want that the Cyprus is unexploited by the Indian film industry. So if we could pitch Cyprus to Bollywood in a right way, I think many would come here, and there would be more, and I could be a forefront in India to promote Cyprus. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm available for questions,
Yes.
if you have any. Yes.
What would it be the next steps in case that, as I said, for my mini TV series, and we have a TV channel, Spanish TV channel interested, how should we proceed if we wanted to shoot it here? Because the tax rebate is interesting. We have 40% in the Canary Islands in Spain. So you said 35, but well, we also have the media program that can, that can help with the
Look,
international
the application for the cash rebate, which is up to 35%, and it covers all the above-the-line expenses, unlike other jurisdictions that they don't cover the above-the-line expenses. Can be done online. So it can be done online, okay? And it's available on our website. And you have to submit the application before the shootings. I don't know if you have started the shootings already. And all the necessary papers that you have to submit along with the application are listed there. So basically we need some basic stuff like the biographies of the main casting, of the producers, the script, and some other necessary documents. We basically after that we convene as a committee and we go through the cultural test. Okay? So according to the score you will receive on the cultural test, you will either reject it or approve. If you get approved, you will get something between 25 and 35%. So after that, the committee will send immediately a letter to the Minister of Finance suggesting to allow us to proceed with the certificate, the pre-approval. So usually we receive the consent of the minister in a few days, okay? And we contact the applicant, the main applicant, telling him that you have 90 days starting from today to start shootings. That's how it goes.
Is there any percentage of the production that has to be Cyprus?
Basically, we counted on, we requested some percentage, although it's not very clear how much. But what we do, basically, it's a minimum, the minimum required is the spending, I would say.
And what is the minimum?
You're talking about TV series, eh? If my memory does not deceive me, I believe it's, for TV series, I believe it's 50,000 euros, but I'm not very sure about it. Let me check it and let you know, okay? Anybody else? Yes?
So once the application is accepted, you have 90 days from that time to start filming. And what's the lead time between applying and finding out if you've been accepted or rejected?
Sorry. Usually once we receive the application, we convene in a very few days, okay? If I receive a complete application today, for example, I will call for a meeting next week, okay? Because I will give some time to the members of the committee to read the application, because this is a requirement. And during the examination of the application, we invite the applicant to come to the meeting and answer questions to the committee, and also, present himself. So basically, I believe this is evaluated on the application, because if there is any areas that the committee is not very sure, the applicant is given the opportunity to clarify them. Anybody else?
Okay, so we are on time. We are going to finish now, so we're going to watch a small video for filming in Cyprus. Dionys, do you want to add something on the video?
It's an open invitation to visit the island once again. I mean, meet with the producers of the film itself, and let's take it from there.
Yeah. Alexei, thank you so much. Also for mentioning the lack of education in Cyprus.
It's constructive criticism.
Exactly.
That's reality.
But this is what CIFF also has to do to increase the local film industry, production-wise and talent-wise, and
Actually, animation can be done anywhere. So a film about Cyprus can be made in, let's say, Romania, so we don't care about that. Shooting, it's a very important place, Cyprus. The equipment is very light nowadays. Lights can be LED, you can transport a whole bunch of equipment within a van. Sound, lighting, cameras, these are not so difficult to come up with and to have good footage. So yeah, for filming, it's an excellent location.
Yes.
I can support that.
And for the development, yes.
The two production companies. So what sort of production resources in terms of kit, in terms of the large scale feature film kit is available on that, as opposed to shipping it in from now or London?
I believe we can accommodate quite decent sized production. Don't you think, Dionys, for the island? I mean, all the basics are here. Or can be brought in from nearby locations if it's something extreme. But I believe that we have built the industry over the past 15 years to a point that we can accommodate any size production. And set building and engineering. I mean, cameras are now easy, they're light, they're cheaper. We have most of them here. Lights, we have lots of lights, cranes.
So you have the bigger things like cranes and Fisher style models.
Yes. We may not have the luxury caravans for the stars.
Yes, and maybe Dionys can tell us his experience with the cooperation for the Jiu-Jitsu film with Nicolas
Just to
Cage.
answer the question first, what I was saying is true. We have the equipment, we're suitable and capable. So you can hear me? So we do have the equipment needed. Of course, it depends on the project, what else is needed, but we do have contacts with especially with Lebanon. It has never been a problem so far. What I want to really emphasize is that the know-how that is on the island, and it's unexploited still. I mean, we've been servicing international campaigns, worldwide campaigns for the past 20 years, and the crew that has been on these campaigns, just skipping to Jiu-Jitsu now, is the crew that actually helped with the Jiu-Jitsu film, with Nicolas Cage. So the know-how is there, the willingness is there. We do tend to work as a team. So in terms of we lack some things in speed, let's say, we do tend to overcome that with the teamwork. And it has been instances in the Jiu-Jitsu that the Cypriot crew has been perfect, and even took over some of the posts of the USA crew. The Jiu-Jitsu was the biggest thing that came to the island. Feature film, it was a sci-fi martial arts film with Nicolas Cage, Musi, Juju Chan, famous actors, and it was a huge test and a lesson as well for the island. were a lot of difficulties in the size of a production that big for an island this small. But truth be told is that we're done with it. You know, it's in the past. We've proven that we can do it. We can easily do it again. So, you know, it's up to you guys.
How many secret members crew employed and how many came from abroad?
Overall, more or less, was like 200 overall, and the secret crew was half, 80 to 90. But we have crew from Thailand and sets and everything. I mean, it was you know, you get a script, and at first you say, this is massive, but then when you start breaking it down and finding the locations and the crew comes in and everybody pitches in and helps out, that's how things happen. That's how the magic happens.
I should just say quickly for the sake of history, that I produced, well, I was a production manager of a feature film from a Hong Kong company in 1990, when everything was still RE3, 35mm, heli mounts, and heavy gear and heavy lights, and sending the dailies to Athens for developing, and carrying you know, the back and forth on the plane just to screen them every day. And I mean, under those conditions, with a small percentage of the crew being Cypriot, but with key positions, we did it. I mean, the film was shot in a month, and it was a big success in the Asian market, mainly, with some major stars of the time. I mean, I forget their names now, but I mean, there were a couple of them were in the next film with Mel Gibson and Lethal Weapon or something. So, yeah, I mean, every few years there had been something, beginning from the 60s with Peter Sellers, was it, and then Raquel Welch and Omar Sharif. Every 10, 20 years, something. The past few years, though, I mean, the past 20 years, since the new generation of filmmakers came from studying in the States and England and whatever, we have developed the industry to a point that right now, it's a daily job. I mean, every year, every month, we have serious projects happening either locally or from abroad, and we can support serious productions locally. It's not just visiting companies anymore.
The last one's here.
We have
Just see that guy, he's the best dolly grip in Cyprus.
we have a lot of recurring clients as well from abroad. I mean, the British Army has been coming to Cyprus for the past 7 years and shooting the worldwide campaigns here. I mean, they came once, they saw, you know, and then every year.
It doesn't rain as much here.
Yeah. The weather is good, the location is good.
Okay, and there are a lot of money that come back. That's a fact, right?
And the rates are very good. I mean, our rates don't compare to US or UK.
Is there a chart?
Yeah.
Is there a chart of rates?
I'm not aware of one. Is there?
If you want to contact with us, you can easily,
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. We concluded this meeting. It was for many of us the first time, also here in Nicosia, the festival. Thank you, Eleftherios, for joining us, and your last word.
My last word. Apart from those of you that I heard that you have an ongoing project and you are considering Cyprus, I'm sure when you're going to go back to your countries and you consider our rebate scheme, which goes up to 35%, and as I said, includes all the above the line expenses, because you might hear some other countries that they have 40% or 45% or whatever, but this does not include the above the line expenses, or there are huge restrictions which takes the cash rebate down to 25% or 28%. So if you ever think that Cyprus is the place for your next project, don't hesitate to contact me or any of our professionals to do your project in Cyprus.
And what about the sales? I think they can do the sales.
The sales is not an issue. The sales is just a company. You register a company in Cyprus and you do the distribution.
Yeah. No need to have a secret pack.
No,
This is
yeah, but this is not on my jurisdiction, so I'm not going to talk about that. I'm talking about the cash rebate and the tax credit, which falls within the scope of my committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much.